So in percentages, you said percentages, and we use percentages to make it easy for everybody to understand, because it's easier to say 94%, you know, people get that. But it is, like Dr. King said, we have an allotment that goes, a set allotment that goes to tourism, the arts, the historical society, the airport, and then everything over that goes to Parks and Rec. So we could do double the restaurant tax as it currently sits, and none of those other entities benefit, only Parks and Rec does. So that's been part of the discussion. We need to make that more fair for everybody. If we were to pass this, you know, we need to lift everybody up and let everybody, and look at their needs, that what they're trying to accomplish in this community, and see how we can utilize that extra revenue. I hope that answers.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else? We have a motion on the table, but we're still discussing.
Move
So,
forward.
is there anything else? I will say this, and Steve, were you getting ready?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, you know, I'm looking at this, it's not about me, and it's not about my kids, but it's about my grandkids. You know, it's their future that we're building up the parks and the tourism and the arts council and things like this. It's things that we're building up for them to do. That's where I'm going with it. You know, I just want better things for my grandkids and stuff. You know, if we do or if we don't decide, you know, one way or another, but I just want what's best for my grandchildren.
I don't have any kids, but
Not yet.
I work with 300 of them, and there are some kids that do not have the affordability to be a part of Montgomery County athletics. You know, it can get expensive, and some kids, due to family life, whether it's economically or socially, cannot be a part of Montgomery County athletics. Sometimes, to be honest with you, it's their grades. But that's why I'm for this restaurant tax. I am for this because those students that can't be a part of Montgomery County school athletics can be a part of the Parks and Rec athletics. And everything that Phil is bringing to the table, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the future of Parks and Rec. Also, being a math teacher, I went down a rabbit hole. And I looked up that the average person in the state of Kentucky, as of 2025, spends $15 a day in fast food eating out at lunch. Right now, that's third in the nation, by the way. So Kentucky's really leading in that aspect. So, right now, you're taxed on that $15 meal, let alone you're paying $15, okay? You're paying 35 cents in restaurant tax if you come to Mount Sterling McDonald's. If this passes as of 2027, you're going to pay 45 cents. Like Dr. King says, if it's $1 or $1.50 more on my check, it's worth my part to invest in the future of Mount Sterling. So I am all for this.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Yes.
One question, Phil. I did have this, a resident in the county and city asked this, like if we had a ball tournament out there on the weekend or something, and they wanted to come out and walk, they said that they've had to pay in the past.
No.
Could they get a pass or something other?
Yes, we can work that out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
All right, thank you.
And
Usually the best thing to do is always park at the soccer complex.
Yes, sir.
There's nobody there to collect any fees there.
All right,
And that might come from when we have a ball tournament for McNabb. We have to stand at the front because sometimes softball and baseball is happening. And a lot of people are thinking, well, I got to pay to get in the park now. And we're like, no, you're okay. So I think that's where that might have come from.
Steve, that's happened to me before when they're holding weekend tournaments.
Yes, sir.
And every single time I've said, I'm not here to watch ball, I'm here to walk, and they've let me in. So the people who rent those fields understand. They're not out trying to make money, they do the right thing. I've never had an issue with the people who rent the fields out there. So just pass that along.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Communication, just good communication, but I'm sure Phil will make sure anybody renting the parks out know, don't take it from people just coming to walk the dogs. John, and I failed you all. I normally have 10 sets of notes back here, and I can pull any fact, any figure at any given time, but I don't have it in front of me, so I'm just gonna throw two numbers out, which help explain the reason why the restaurant tax looked like the most viable option for us to move forward. One of them, there's a restaurant out near the 110 exit, and we have this data through Placer AI, that service that we are partners with the Chamber and Tourism and Parks and Rec, where they give us data based on what they collect off cell phones and other sources. But one sit-down restaurant out near the 110 exit, 38% of the people that eat there are from Montgomery County. That includes Jeffersonville.
Yeah.
So 40353, 40337. That means 62% of the people eating in that restaurant are from outside our community, and they're paying a restaurant tax that's helping fund our parks. So that's a win as far as when we look at which revenue sources are best, in my opinion. And then the other one, Easy Walker Park, 52% of the people who utilized Easy Walker Park over the past year were Montgomery County residents. 48% of the people who utilize that park are from outside our county. So we've got all these folks from the surrounding counties that come in and utilize our parks. And if they can help pay a restaurant tax, they're helping fund that. A property tax would put the burden solely on our residents, and that's not fair. So that's why the restaurant tax, a usage tax, is a much better option, as we've looked at it. But certainly, I think you all have made it clear to me how you want to move forward through discussion. But I just want to throw that out there, John. Good question. So I had a motion to proceed from Councilmember Barnes, and what this motion would be is for me to proceed on a draft amended ordinance. Doesn't mean, all that means is I owe you a draft so that we can look to move
We would
forward.
have the option for discussion.
Absolutely.
And discuss what we think would be best.
Yes. I told you I got some very good feedback from folks who thought portions of the restaurant tax were not clear, and I agree with them. There's some gray areas in there that don't make it clear, so we need the restaurant tax was written in 1990, and it was good for 1990, but 30 years later, it's not as clear as it needs to be. So there's some items that need to be marked out. There's some items that probably need Appendix A that shows what a meal looks like and how you would charge that meal. Just better examples that help not only citizens understand, but restaurant owners understand.
And one other thing I would just say, when you use a credit card, a lot of places, they charge you 2.5% just to use their credit card. So people are willing to do that every single day, and that doesn't help any of our cities. So it's to me, it just seems like, I agree with you. I think
We've learned a lot over the past month. I have looked at more of my receipts over the last month than I've ever looked at. I usually get them and stick them in a pocket and don't think much of it, but I look at every receipt now, analyzing that to see exactly where money's going. And we had even mentioned, like, rounding up is taking place. So with the penny going away, restaurants are saying they're rounding down or rounding to the next, rounding to 0 or rounding to 5 or whatever that is. So that is taking place too, and that's a reality. And I'd mentioned that to you before. I had a citizen contact me and say, I'd rather the roundup go to the parks instead of to a restaurant. So, but we've all learned a lot over the last month. And the motion that is on the table is to proceed with having me prepare a draft of the ordinance
I'll
for
second.
further discussion. Second by King. Any further discussion? Okay, poll Poll the members, please.
Barnes. Hilton.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Leffert.
Yeah, I'm listening. I would like, I'm gonna say no. No.
Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Okay, thank you. I'll start working on a draft ordinance, and my intent is to have something for you by next meeting, but I want to make sure I give you a good quality product, so just bear with me, and we'll continue the discussion. Thank you. Anything from council that you all need to bring up?
How about the street? I was asked the other day, and I was gonna ask Nathan tonight, how about the street behind McDonald's and Don Senor that goes towards the car wash?
That's a
Yeah.
problem.
So,
The little alley or whatever.
you want to talk about
call it.
Young Spur Lane? So, Young Lane Spur?
Yeah.
We, first of all, because Facebook says everything in the city limits
I
is the
don't pay no
city's,
attention
okay?
to
I
that
want to make
thing.
that clear. That's a private drive. And Megan has done a lot of work tracking down who exactly owns that.
Yes, sir.
When they developed all of that, that last portion of let's give the street away never happened. So it's still in private hands. We're trying to get that in our hands.
Yes, sir.
She's been working on that for some time. So
sir.
it is our intent to either the owners who we identify fix it and spend all that money on asphalt, or ask them to deed that street over to us and we'll take responsibility.
Yes,
for
sir,
it.
thank you.
So I'm glad you said that too. Leads me into, we are coming up on blacktop season. So Nathan has worked very hard to prioritize a list of streets that need blacktopping. If you see anything that you think needs to be addressed, now's the time to just get us that info. Nathan's probably already got it on the list, but we want to make sure we haven't missed anything. This is going to be a tight budget this year, and I don't know how much our Director of Finance is going to give us I'm asking for a lot, but she's smirking. I don't know how much I'm going to get out of her. But we're going to try to do the best we can with what we have, and just make sure we make the most of those tax dollars this year. Yes,
That property out front of Tractor Supply, I know that's a privately owned
it is.
condominium type
Yeah.
stuff. But
So-
something Pam can address,
We have, great question.
fix it.
We have reached out to the property owners, and they have committed to fixing those holes as soon as asphalt's available. So, and if that property owner were to bring it up to certain specs, we would entertain bringing that into the city limits ourselves. But right now it's in private hands. And it's frustrating because, as I said before, on Facebook, everything in the city limits is the city's. So I want to find a solution to that as much as everyone does. Yes. Okay. Anything else from anyone? I did put this in your packet. We're moving very well in our conversations with green sinks. So the kind of conceptual design's been done. Construction design will be next on these two green sinks. And then hopefully we could move forward with actual construction on green sinks in the old Bark Park area. And then there's an area out along Levy Road that's currently owned by the Walker family that we may be able to put a second green sink in. So good things happening there. The last thing I would just like to say is thank you to the public for coming out tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. Sheriff's Department is here, Fiscal Court is here, Judge, you're here. I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there anything you wish to convey?
I just appreciate you all and you. 4th of July, we got a new event planned. Be sure you're gonna stay here in Monroe County, okay?
I'm glad Judge has done a great job of putting great people around the table to try to celebrate America 250. The city is making a donation of $5,000 to help with those efforts. So once again, as soon as I can get my Director of Finance to cut that check, we'll be fully on board, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
She's a tough cookie. All right.